At kaugnay pa rin ang nasabing laban ay nandun ako at saka yung ating kaibigan na masipag po na sports editor at isa po sa mga pinakamagaling nating kababayan pagdating sa pagsusulat sa larangan po ng boxing. Joining us via phone patch is Rappler.com sports editor Ryan Songalia. Ryan, good evening and welcome to our show, PTV Sports.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
All right, Ryan, first of all, I have to admit that I like the chances of Jerwin before the fight, but I never expected him to dominate Magjo Arroyo the way he did last Saturday. What were your expectations before the fight, and what's your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the result of that fight, Ryan?
I knew that Jerwin was a good fighter. I had seen him when he was still a prospect, and he was training on Jupiter in Makati. The knock on him was always that he wasn't a puncher. He had everything but power. And then when he developed power later on in his career, after his loss to Mark Geraldo, and he became a more confident fighter, you could see glimpses of him. Like when he fought in Macau, he was very comfortable. And at the weigh-in, I didn't know how to feel until I got to the weigh-in. And you could see on Magjo Arroyo's face, he was miserable, didn't really want to be there. While Jerwin Ancajas, even though he was making a very small purse, looked like he was the happiest guy in the world. I'd never seen anyone so excited to fight for $3,000. So I think by that point, I started to anticipate that Ancajas would have a good performance. And his performance was incredible because he came with a game plan. He started out with his right jab. He was longer, he was faster, better hand speed, better foot speed. And Arroyo just never got out of first gear. It was a very disappointing performance for him. The style did not work for him, and that's why Ancajas now is the champion.
All right. But, well, you mentioned that Magjo Arroyo had a disappointing performance. Do you have any reason in mind how that thing happened, or was it simply because Jerwin was so dominant that night?
I think you have to give credit to Jerwin because he came out. I remember the first punch he threw was a right jab to the body, and it was so crisp, so fast, and I think the speed, more so than anything else, bothered Arroyo. Arroyo is not really an aggressive fighter. That's why the best performance he ever turned in was against Tyson Marquez, the former flyweight champion, who was a very aggressive, open fighter. Ancajas was not like that. It was a bad style for him. I spoke briefly with Arroyo afterwards. He was fine. He was a bit disappointed that he came over here and he lost the title in his first defense after having not fought for more than a year. But he did not. He mentioned that he didn't feel right, but did not say it was anything like jet lag. He said simply that he has to give credit to the champion, and I think that's a fair statement.
All right. But I was surprised that no one bothered to join the purse bid on their behalf. I learned that no one placed a bid except for the camp of Ancajas. And for the longest time, I thought that Magjo, as well as his brother McWilliams Arroyo, are two of the most popular fighters in Puerto Rico. How come that this situation happened? Magjo having to fight behind enemy lines and stake his ground outside of Puerto Rico, Ryan?
It was, it's a kind of complicated situation. I've heard from basically everyone involved there what had happened. They originally had agreed upon the money. The fight was supposed to take place in Puerto Rico in February, and Ancajas was to make $40,000 for that fight. And when it went to a purse bid, I was confused a bit because why would a purse bid be called for a fight in which they had already agreed upon money? A purse bid happens when no one agrees upon money. So I've heard different things, some of it unsubstantiated. There was some kind of drama involving parties not affiliated with MP promotions, which I don't want to go into because it's not really my business. But it all seemed like the perfect storm to bring a championship fight here to the Philippines because for $25,000, a world championship fight, to come to the Philippines, it's remarkable, particularly when you're considering you're dealing with PR Boxing, Peter Rivera, who is a very highly regarded promoter. To find a way to get that fight here in the Philippines it takes some kind of 007, GoldenEye, James Bond stuff to make that happen.
Okay. And about Jerwin, Ryan, what's in store as far as his future is concerned, knowing that the 115-pound kingdom, this is full of a lot of tough champions. Of course, the pound king right now is about to enter that division. We're talking about Roman Gonzalez. What do you expect about the future of Jerwin, Ryan?
Of course, when I spoke to Jerwin, when I spoke to Jovin Jimenez, his trainer / manager, they both said that they want to fight Roman Gonzalez. They said that they talk about that fight a lot. They think that they have the right style to beat Roman Gonzalez. And when you're a taller, bigger southpaw who boxes and can make a guy like McJoe Arroyo look bad, you have to understand why they feel that way. But of course, that's the big money fight there. They said that they're not concerned about money, and if you're going to win a championship for $3,000, obviously money is not always the biggest thing for you. But there are so many fights that could be made. The problem at the 115-pound division is that so many of the champions, particularly in the lighter divisions, don't want to unify, and that's where a lot of the money would be. You'd have to wonder if Roman Gonzalez gets the WBC title. That means that neither fighter can be the mandatory for each other, which it almost makes it so that there has to be the money. The money has to be right, and I think that with HBO backing Roman Gonzalez, he'll have the pick of whoever he wants to fight. And if HBO says, "Hey, we really like this Ancajas guy," that's assuming that Ancajas comes up on the radar for a possible opponent, then we could see that fight. But there are a number of champions. The one thing that I think is a bit of a disadvantage right now is that there aren't that many big-name opponents without titles. Now, we just saw Takama Inoue, who just beat Froilan Saludar, his former Ancajas' former training partner last night. He's going to move up to 118, so that's a potential big money fight that is going to be unavailable now for Ancajas. It remains to be seen. I just hope that he fights some credible competition. And actually, before the fight, I had received a message from Eddie Hearn, the promoter in England, saying that he was interested in matching undefeated contender Cal Yafai against the winner of this fight. So perhaps we might see that, and that could be a lucrative opportunity for Ancajas as well.
Okay. And lastly, Ryan, you think it's right for Jerwin to go and try to challenge Roman Gonzalez and the other champions, or would it be wise for him to probably have a choice defense before aiming for his fellow champions, Ryan?
Well, I think that any unification is an optional thing, but if you're out there to be a boxer, the idea is that you should want to be the best. And if Ancajas wants to be the best, he has to fight a guy like Roman Gonzalez. So I say, why not? You're in this business to make money. That's the big money fight right there. But just looking at Ancajas, his skills, his ability, his experience, he's been fighting since he was a little kid. I don't think he has any reason to be afraid of anybody. I think that he should go where the money is. I think he should get paid, firstly, so that his future is secure. But I think that against a guy like Roman Gonzalez, he has business to fight against a guy like that. He's not out of his depth. I think if that's where his dreams is, he should dream big. Fight Roman Gonzalez.
All right, my friend Ryan, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much for having me on. Take care.
All right, at there have it mga kaibigan, ating kaibigan, si Ryan Songalia, ang sports editor ng Rappler.com.
Ako po si Cathy San Gabriel. Subscribe na sa PTV YouTube channel. I-click lang po ang subscribe button.